transmission.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas!
Welcome, watchers of Illusion, to my Castle of Confusion. It's the 13th of December, just about, and I've got an arcade classic for you. Yes, it's Green Beret, and it's on the arcade this time. I thought you'd like to actually see the original game, and how the Spectrum version really wasn't that far off its mark, quite honestly. We start off, it's practically identical. The only difference between this and the Spectrum version, of course, is the gorgeous colour scheme that you have right here. But to be fair, the Spectrum didn't have a great palette to work with. So, I am going to try and plough my way through this game and see how it compares to the Specky version that I reviewed not so long back. Now, as you can see already, the Spectrum has practically got this absolutely spot on the money. The ads are the same, the enemies are the same, the pickups are the same, the backdrops are the same. It's absolutely nailed it as far as I'm concerned. I think absolutely, screen for screen here, it's identical. I need to find out how to do a sort of picture-in-picture so I could actually show you properly. But for now, you'll have to just go back and see my Green Beret review on the Specky. But everything is the same. I think that's brilliant. And I mean, to give the Spectrum its props, it did a fantastic job on this game. It really did. Now, the only thing you'll probably realise here, there's no jumping enemies at this stage, and the Spectrum version did have those guys in. Now, that's not to say that they're absent, because I know full well they're not. They are fully in the game, and you will see them hopefully a bit later on. But as we go through level 1, everything's great and the same. But I wanted to actually have a look at the arcade version and see how it compared. Now, the one thing that made me chuckle with the Spectrum version was the enemies, well, actually your character soldier's head bobble. But you can see here it's actually doing it as well. Now, I can tell you what I meant. When on the Spectrum version I said you need to keep the flamethrower until the very end. This is why. You basically let them come as close as you dare and then let rip with the flamethrower, and you basically wipe them all out in a very, very quick succession. There you go. And that's infinitely... I wouldn't say it's easier than the Spectrum version, really, I wouldn't. I don't think it is easier than the Spectrum version. I think it's just that I've kind of got my groove on with the game now. Once you know what you're doing, you know, this game isn't quite as bad. However, it is still rock solid. Now, this level is very... so the Spectrum again, even though I didn't get this far on the Spectrum version, it is, again, identical to what you would expect. And, oh my god, that guy crawling along the floor for absolutely no reason. Now, the difficulty level on this increases because now you've got enemies that actually stop and fire at you, especially these guys in the blue here. In the first round, they obviously didn't do much apart from run at you, but now they actually stop and shoot. Same with these bazooka guys. Now, the guys in the blue also have a slightly different mechanic in the fact they'll follow you up and down ladders as well. So there is that to watch out for as well. I'm kind of strayed off the Christmas theme a little bit, guys. I do apologise for that. I'm going to try and get back into the Christmas groove next week, as obviously next Sunday is Christmas Day. And I will be doing my reviews next week as normal. I'm not sure if it's going to stick to the same schedule of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I will do my best for you. I'm actually finishing my my work on the 20th, so I should be able to squeeze out a couple of reviews, even if they are back to back or, you know, a bit closer together. But I will get you guys some reviews out next week, and there may be a couple of Christmas specials thrown in for good measure. If you've got any games that you would like to see next week, then of course drop me a line. Always willing to review a fan request, as long as I've got it and I can find it and give it a good going over, then that shouldn't be an issue at all. So any format, Spectrum, Amstrad, C64, arcade, Nintendo, Sega, whatever. What's your favourite game and why? Leave me a note in the comments, because I love to hear why people have played, or what people have played in the past, and why it's their favourite game, why they have fond memories of it. And you can see here those jump kicking guys are kicking my ass. The parachute guys I don't think are in the Spectrum version actually, but that's a slight, let's say it's a slight omission. I could be wrong because I never got that far. But as a home conversion went, the home computers actually nailed this game completely, absolutely rock solid. And this, for an arcade game, is absolutely fantastic as well. I wouldn't say at all that it's any easier. In fact, I would say difficulty is probably on par with the home versions too. But then the home versions had to get their inspiration from somewhere, you know. So I think you know, the problem is with a lot of arcade conversions is that they don't always hit the mark, do they? You get an arcade conversion and it's utter pants. So you know, sometimes they really do miss the mark. But on this game in particular, they've absolutely nailed the brief. So there we go. Anyway, enough about the Spectrum version. I love the colour scheme on this game. It's brilliant. The guys have all got their army coats on and everything. Absolutely brilliant. And the guys with the guns, absolutely spot on. Love it. Colour-wise, it's very military, as you'd expect, and really does give you that hint that you are going out to rescue some prisoners of war, and that was close. I like the fact there's different weaponry as well. The first level was a flamethrower, this one it's a rocket launcher. I think possibly there's others in further levels, but hey, if anyone's ever got that far, let me know. This game is rock solid, and it's the only thing that lets the score down, really. Graphics and sound are absolutely fantastic, but the difficulty level it's frustrating, as you saw earlier on. Now I'm getting mincemeated by a dog. Alright then, so obviously I need to be at the far end of the screen instead of close to it. Okay, so end of level bosses aren't really bosses, it's just a string of guys that you need to kill. Now that's kind of hard. The flamethrower one was great. I actually don't have a rocket launcher anymore, so that's going to be tricky. I'm going to give it a go, but if I fail, then I shall leave it. And I'm leaving it! Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you next week. Have a cracking weekend. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back soon with a brand new review. Ta-ra for now!